Did you know that your bones are constantly being broken down and rebuilt, even as you're watching this video? And the foods that you eat every single day play a huge role in whether your bones stay strong or if they start to weaken. Osteoporosis and bone loss aren't just something to worry about when you're older. The truth is, your nutrition today builds your fracture resistance for tomorrow. Today, I'm sharing 5 powerful science-backed foods that do more than just nourish you. They actively support having stronger bones. They help to improve nutrient absorption, and they even protect against fractures. And don't worry, these aren't obscure health foods. They're delicious, affordable, and easy to add to meals that you already love. From the humble white bean to the creamy richness of hard cheese, let's take a look at the top 5 bone-building foods, and your body will thank you for it. Hello, my friends. I'm Sarah, and I'm a nutritional health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I'm also a BoneFit certified fitness instructor and a 500-hour trained yoga teacher with additional training that's specific to osteoporosis and yoga. I'm on a mission to reduce the number of fractures that happen each year, and I am so pleased to have you join me in the journey to better bone health. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge something important. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition, even when it comes to bone health. We all come to the table with different needs, values, and experiences, whether that's based on food sensitivities, food allergies, cultural preferences, or ethical choices. The 5 foods that I'm sharing with you today are backed by research for their role in supporting bone strength. But that doesn't mean that they're the only foods that can help. Think of this list today as a menu of science-supported options. This isn't a rigid prescription. You're free to pick and choose the ones that align with your personal food values and your goals. My goal today is to help you to understand why these foods are beneficial so that you can then make informed, confident choices that work for you. So with that in mind, let's get started with food number 1 on our list today, and that's white beans. So what if I told you that this humble little bean could strengthen your bones, support your gut, and even boost your calcium intake all without dairy? Most people know that white beans are a plant-based protein, but did you know that they're also loaded with calcium, magnesium, and prebiotic fiber? When you prepare them with kombu, you can make a big difference in how your body absorbs the nutrients that are held in white beans. So let's have a look at the nutritional profile that's in 1 cup of cooked white beans. 1 cup of cooked white beans provides about 160 milligrams of calcium, 120 milligrams of magnesium, over 15 grams of fiber, around 15 grams of protein, plus they have potassium, phosphorus, and iron. That's a nutrient jackpot for your bones. Calcium and magnesium are both essential for bone strength. I want to briefly draw your attention to white beans having both calcium and magnesium. So you've likely heard from me that calcium and magnesium can compete with each other for nutrient absorption in our bodies. And that's absolutely true, but only in large amounts, which is generally only an issue when you're taking supplements for both calcium and magnesium. Calcium and magnesium do not compete with each other when they're both together in the same food source. So in general, when we get our nutrients from food sources, we're better able to absorb the nutrients, getting as many of our nutrients as we can from high quality food sources our first priority. Then we can use supplements to fill in any gaps that we have from there. All right, so back to our white beans. White beans are also loaded with fiber, which plays an important role in our gut health. Recent research is revealing something called the gut-bone axis. This is a connection between your gut health and how your bones hold up as you age. The prebiotic fiber that's in white beans helps to feed the good bacteria in your gut. A healthy gut can also improve nutrient absorption, including calcium, and even regulate inflammation that affects bone turnover. In other words, having a healthy gut means having healthier bones. All right, let's talk about kombu. Kombu is a dried sea vegetable, part of the kelp family that's commonly used in Japanese cooking. It's not only rich in trace minerals like iodine, but it contains natural enzymes that can help to break down phytates in beans. So phytates are compounds that bind minerals like calcium and magnesium, making them harder for your body to actually absorb. Kombu helps loosen that grip. It unlocks more of the bean's nutrients for your bones. So here's how to actually do this. Rinse 1 cup of dried white beans. Place it in a bowl and then cover it with several inches of water. Add a 2 to 3 inch strip of dried kombu to this. And then from there, let it soak overnight, somewhere between 8 to 12 hours at a minimum. From here, drain, rinse, and cook the beans with the kombu for extra mineral richness, or remove the kombu before cooking if you prefer having a milder flavor. You'll end up with beans that are creamier, easier to digest, and have more mineral richness to them. It's a small step that makes a big nutritional difference. White beans may not get the spotlight very often, but they should. They're affordable, versatile, and when they're paired with kombu, they become a bone-building, gut-loving superfood. Now let's talk about food number 2 on our list today, and that's hard cheeses like Parmesan and Swiss. When people think about bone-building foods, cheese might not be the first thing that comes to mind. This is especially true if you're trying to eat clean and cut back on dairy. But let me tell you, certain cheeses, especially hard cheeses like Parmesan and Swiss, are some of the most underrated superfoods for your bones. Hard cheeses are naturally rich in calcium, protein, and another fascinating important nutrient for bone health, which is vitamin K2. So this combination of nutrients makes them uniquely powerful for bone health. In fact, one long-term study, the Rotterdam study, found that people who consumed more vitamin K2 had up to a 65% lower risk of hip fractures. That's huge. And yes, hard cheeses are one of the best natural sources of K2 that you can eat through a food source rather than supplementing. Hard cheeses like Parmesan, Swiss, and Gouda are rich in vitamin K2, specifically MK7, the form that helps your body to send calcium to your bones where it actually belongs, keeping it out of places that it shouldn't go, like your arteries. So if you've ever felt bloated or uncomfortable after eating dairy, but you do just fine with Parmesan, there's a reason for that. Parmigiano Reggiano, which is made from the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, hopefully I said that right, specifically in the province of Parma, is made with raw milk and then it's aged for over a year. So it's packed with natural digestive enzymes that help to break down lactose and the proteins. By the time you eat it, it's not only rich in calcium and vitamin K2, but it's also easier to digest than most other cheeses. These enzymes start breaking down lactose and milk proteins even before you eat it. During the long aging process, the cheese develops proteolytic enzymes that break down casein or milk protein into smaller peptides and amino acids. Most of the lactose is also broken down, making it virtually lactose-free by the time it's ready to eat. Many people who can't tolerate milk or soft cheeses do just fine with Parmigiano Reggiano, especially the aged versions, the expensive good stuff. Plus, aged cheese can also contribute bioactive peptides, which can also support gut health and your immune system. So let's have a look at the nutritional breakdown of hard cheese. In just 1 ounce of Parmesan, there are about 330 milligrams of calcium, which is roughly 25% of your daily need. In 1 ounce of Parmesan, there are about 10 grams of protein, and in 1 ounce of Swiss or Gouda, there are about 7 grams of protein, which helps to preserve muscle mass. Muscle mass helps to support our bones. So in 1 ounce of hard cheese, there are also between 20 and 50 micrograms of the kind of vitamin K2 that are beneficial for our bones. This isn't the leafy green kind, that's vitamin K1. K2 is found in fermented animal products like cheese, and it also plays a key role in directing calcium into your bones and keeping it out of soft tissues like our arteries. So if you enjoy cheese, go ahead and sprinkle some Parmesan over a salad. Enjoy a slice of aged Gouda or Swiss with some fruit, or even shave it over roasted veggies. You're not just adding flavor, you're also adding bone-strengthening nutrients in a highly absorbable form. The third food on our list today are eggs with their yolks. So eggs are one of the most versatile foods out there, and they support your bone health. These humble little nutrition bombs have more to offer than most people realize, especially when it comes to vitamin D. Eggs contain several nutrients that play an important role in our bone formation and strength. So they have vitamin D in the egg yolk. They have choline, which supports collagen production. And they also have phosphorus, which is a key mineral in our bone structure. And between 6 to 7 grams of high quality protein, which is essential for building and maintaining both bone and muscle. The star here is the vitamin D, which helps your body to absorb calcium and to regulate bone turnover. Most of us don't get enough vitamin D, especially during the winter months or even in the summer if we spend a lot of time indoors. That might not sound like a lot, but if you were to eat 2 eggs per day, that's nearly 100 international units, and pasture-raised eggs can have 3 to 4 times that amount. Eggs are also one of the best food sources of choline, which supports our collagen production, the protein matrix that gives your bones flexibility and strength. And with 6 to 7 grams of complete protein per egg, they also help to preserve your muscle mass, which is closely linked to having high quality bone density. So there was a time back in the late 80s and 90s when all fats were seen as the enemy. The low-fat, fat-free craze told us to ditch the yolks, just stick with the egg whites. Anybody remember that? This was to avoid the saturated fat. Now we know better. Healthy fats are essential for absorbing key nutrients like vitamin D and for supporting our hormone production and our brain health. And guess what? The yolk is where almost all of the vitamin D and choline are hiding. So if you're still tossing out your yolks, stop. That's where the magic happens for your bones. Don't underestimate the egg. Whether you like them scrambled, hard-boiled, or in an omelet, they're a delicious, affordable, bone-supporting powerhouse. And yes, you want the yolk. The fourth food on our list is canned salmon with bones. So salmon is packed with nutrients that benefit our bones, but canned salmon with bones is also a good source of calcium. So you may have heard that canned sardines are an excellent source for calcium, and that is absolutely true. But not everyone loves sardines, and that's okay. Canned salmon with bones is a milder and often a more familiar option. Of course, if you love sardines, then by all means enjoy them because they are an excellent source of nutrients for your bones. So let's go over the nutritional rundown of canned salmon with bones for better bone health. And then just for good measure, we're going to compare that to canned sardines. In 1 3-ounce can of salmon with bones, there are between 180 and 220 milligrams of calcium. There are between 300 and 600 international units of vitamin D. There are between 1,000 and 1,500 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. And there are between 17 and 19 grams of protein. There's also between 25 and 30 milligrams of magnesium, along with 4 to 5 micrograms of vitamin B12 and 1 milligram of iron. Canned sardines are particularly nutrient dense, and they have between 325 and 350 milligrams of calcium. They also have between 175 and 250 international units of vitamin D. They have between 22 and 23 grams of protein and between 1,000 and 1,500 milligrams of omega-3s. They also pack about 40 milligrams of magnesium and 8 micrograms of vitamin B12, along with 2.5 milligrams of iron. If you're looking for a calcium superstar, sardines take the crown. But if you want more vitamin D and a milder flavor, then canned salmon with bones is a fantastic choice. Either way, you're getting a nutrient-dense, bone-supporting meal from the sea. Considering what is of value in canned salmon for bone health, omega-3s and vitamin D don't just work separately, they actually team up to support your bones. Vitamin D helps your body to absorb and use calcium, while omega-3s reduce inflammation and promote the activity of our bone-building cells. Research shows that this particular combination, vitamin D plus omega-3s, may be especially beneficial for postmenopausal women who are more prone to having bone loss. Canned salmon with bones gives you both nutrients in one easy and affordable food. So when you're considering what kind of canned salmon to buy, look for a wild-caught salmon for better omega-3 content, and always choose the variety with bones to get the calcium bonus. So if you've been avoiding fish and you didn't realize how bone-nourishing canned salmon can be, this is your sign to maybe give it a try. Your bones and your wallet will thank you for it. So have you ever tried canned salmon with bones? Or do you have a favorite salmon recipe? If you do, please share it in the comments below. I think an exchange of recipes could be really fun and inspiring for everyone that's part of our bone building community. So let's move on to our fifth scientifically backed food for better bone health, and that's dark leafy greens that are low in oxalates. So when you think of leafy greens, you probably think of healthy, but not all greens are created equal when it comes to our bone health. Some are packed with calcium that your body can easily absorb, while others contain compounds that block the easy absorption. So I'm talking about low oxalate leafy greens, greens like kale, bok choy, collard greens, and turnip greens. These powerhouses are rich in bone building nutrients, especially calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K1, without having high oxalate levels that are found in spinach or beet greens. So oxalates are natural compounds that are found in some plants, but they can bind to calcium in our digestive tracts and make it harder for our bodies to absorb the calcium or magnesium. So even though spinach has a lot of calcium on paper, your body can't access most of it. Often when we talk about greens for better bone health, we mention bok choy and the cabbage family, and they are absolute rock stars when it comes to our bone health because of their readily available calcium. In 1 cup of cooked bok choy, there's actually about the same bioavailable calcium as in 1 cup of cow's milk. It's just something to file away and remember for later. Today though, let's focus on kale. Kale is especially helpful for bones because it's low in oxalates and high in bioavailable calcium. Plus, it's packed with vitamin K1, which plays a crucial role in activating osteocalcin, which is one of the proteins that helps to bind calcium into your bone matrix. So in 1 cup of cooked kale, there's approximately 170 milligrams of calcium. There are 550 micrograms of vitamin K1 and about 30 milligrams of magnesium. And kale also contains potassium, antioxidants, and fiber that are all helpful for building strong, healthy bones. So lightly steaming or sauteing your greens can make the nutrients easier to absorb and to reduce any bitterness. You can toss them into stir fries, you can blend them into smoothies, or you can use them as a calcium-rich base for worm salads. Pair them with a healthy fat like olive oil or some avocado to enhance their vitamin K1 absorption. So if you're looking for a non-dairy way to boost calcium and vitamin K, these greens have your back, literally. So what's your favorite way to eat cooked greens? Let me know in the comments. So there you have it. 5 simple, powerful foods that are backed by research that can help you to build stronger bones and support your health from the inside out. White beans soaked with kombu, hard cheese, eggs with their yolks, canned salmon with bones, and dark leafy greens low in oxalates. The goal here isn't necessarily perfection, it's progress and awareness. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. But if something in today's video gave you a new idea or helped you to understand how food supports your bones, that's a win. Choose the foods from this list that align with your body, your goals, and your food values. Whether you're adding white beans to a salad, trying kale in your morning smoothie, or simply keeping the yolk the next time that you make some eggs, every small step counts. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these foods do you already eat? Which ones are you curious to try? And if you have a favorite bone building recipe, please share it. I'm always looking for new ideas, and I know that this community will benefit too. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone that you care about. Together we can take simple steps toward having stronger bones, better health, and a more resilient future. And on that note, I look forward to seeing you soon.